and the Republicans are only for the rich. Well, if Trump gets rid of illegal immigrants and cheap labor, do you think his billionaire friends are happy with him? Oh, I never thought about it that way. And if Democrats are for the poor and they want to help increase the income, middle income, why are they allowing cheap labor to come here that's good for the billionaires but hurts the low and middle? Oh, God. Well, I never thought about it that way before.
Patrick Bet-David went on Steve-O's podcast. I didn't even know Steve-O had a podcast, but apparently Steve-O's got a podcast. And Patrick Bet-David went on Steve-O's podcast, and his dad was also there. Steve-O's dad was also there. And, Patrick Bet-David took them both on, debated them on a few different topics, but things really got heated whenever it got to a specific debate topic here on this podcast between Patrick Bet-David and Steve-O and Steve-O's dad. That's right. Weird situation going on there, but hey, it happened. Let's check it out, though. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so without pointing to the cabinet appointees, the officials, I'm interested in your thoughts on mass deportation, being that you have the background as an immigrant. The idea that the mass deportation is something that Trump campaigned on so much. However, he also campaigned on he's going to reduce inflation. Is not mass deportation super inflationary?
Okay, so it's two questions, right? Let me address the first one. So in 1984, we applied to get a green card to come to the States. Didn't happen. June 3rd, 89, Khomeini dies. 6 weeks later, we escaped to Germany. Go live in Germany at a refugee camp waiting for our green card. Finally, we get it. And we come here November 28, 1990. So I came here legally. So I didn't come here illegally. We came here illegally. If you come here illegally, hey, man, follow the law. Very simple. You follow the law, do your thing. We got to kind of go through it. Now, the argument for inflation is two ways how you go with that, right? Like I remember the H-1B visa argument. The Americans are not as hardworking, or some of the people that are, coming in as immigrants and they're hungry. Maybe partly right. Maybe some guys that are coming here are more grateful about the opportunities given to them than somebody that was born here. Maybe there's a little bit of argument for that. Maybe it could have been said in a different way, but maybe there's some kind of an argument for that. And, these illegal immigrants, like the one lady on The View who used to be on the show with Bill Cosby, and I think she was the one, she says, well who's going to start cleaning the toilet if we get rid of the Mexicans? And they're like, wait, no, you can't say that. Well, I'm just saying. And she just kind of spit it out. It was embarrassing because liberals are trying to make the case that it's unfair to let the illegal immigrant kind of do some of the work that maybe Americans don't want to do. But the reality of it is, if the president has a job, his job is to, one, take care of the American worker. By the way, let's go to this. They say Republicans are for billionaires, right? And Democrats are for the poor. Really?
Watch this. I think they're all for billionaires.
But I want you to think about this here. If that's the case, as a kid, I asked my mom, I said, Mom, are we Republicans or Democrats? And she says, we're Democrats. Why? Because Democrats are for the poor, Republicans are for the rich. And I said, when I grow up one day, I want to be a Republican. I just want to be rich. I'm sick and tired of being broke. But watch this. If Democrats are for the poor and the Republicans are only for the rich, well, if Trump gets rid of illegal immigrants and cheap labor, do you think his billionaire friends are happy with him? Oh, I never thought about it that way. And if Democrats are for the poor and they want to help increase the income, middle income, why are they allowing cheap labor to come here that's good for the billionaires but hurts the low and middle? Oh, God. Well, I never thought about it that way before. I mean, this is the arguments that we hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point by Patrick Bet-David there, and it's only going to help the low-income families, right? Assuming that is low-income families actually want to work for their money, which is a lot of them. Let's be real, they don't want to just collect government assistance, if we're being completely honest, but, assuming, let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they do want to work for their money, they just get priced out by the illegal immigrants, the people who are coming here from the super poor countries that are willing to work for dirt cheap now. And all these jobs are being taken by the illegal immigrants and these poor people who are actually collecting government assistance but can't, or just, they're just watching illegal immigrants take their jobs and making them collect food stamps. As it's a sketch situation all around, because if you get rid of the illegal immigrants, it might help them that Democrats claim they want them so badly. And it's also going to help the homeless veterans and people who get neglected, American citizens who get neglected in favor of these illegal immigrants. So I'm sure it's going to help both sides, right? And there's only really one thing that checks out logically, line of reason for, why the Democrats want so badly to keep illegal immigrants in the country. And I guess you could say two, but the one that makes sense, the most sense to me is that they want illegal immigrants to be voting for them. And that's why they passed the no voter ID laws and put into things to make it seem racist. You're trying to just ask someone for their ID to vote. And you could say maybe it's the elites on top of the actual lawmakers themselves that are trying to cause the downfall of Western society. Who knows? Not you, not me. Maybe none of us know. But let me know in the comments what you think about this. I'm really curious to hear. Let's get back into it.
Sometimes being made. But no, if Democrats are really that concerned about increasing the median income, then stop allowing 10 million illegal immigrants to come here. And if Trump's got the brass to get a Tom Homan, who's another gangster, to get everybody to get out who's illegal, and that hurts his billionaire friends that are hiring people for cheap labor, well, then that could be a completely different argument being made, saying, hey, what are you doing here? You're kind of hurting us a little bit.
I feel like I want to push back on that a little bit. That's what she said. She said, I'm going to push back real hard, though. Construction work, the caution. So I think of because, when I think of construction and stuff like that. And I feel like it's the average American it's so difficult to purchase a home. And then I think that chain reaction of mass deportation, I think that the construction work, the cost of building homes is going to rise. I think it's not just going to hurt billionaires. I think that we're looking at inflation from that.
Well, then the question becomes, do you want that job to go to an American? Do you want that job to go to an illegal immigrant? Who do you want that job to go to? If you want that...
Maybe you're right.
Let me give...
So, if I'm being honest, personally, and I would love to hear your comments and love to see all of you get mad at me in the comments. I don't mind having super cheap labor, as somebody that runs multiple businesses, and look, my businesses are all online. So like a lot of the times I am outsourcing to VAs in Pakistan or stuff like that, and full transparency, because why the hell wouldn't you do that? If the opportunity is there, why wouldn't you do that? That's what all the rich people do. So I don't, hate having super cheap labor from people who are coming in from Mexico or wherever they're coming from, these poor countries. I don't need it, but, rather than having Americans making money hypothetically and theoretically in a perfect world, yeah. But I'm thinking about my own pockets here, right? And best bang for my buck. Like if I was somebody who did home repairs and, rental home repairs, the best bang for my buck is going to pick up a Mexican at Home Depot to come help me. Not go to hire an American family, an American with a family. It's going to be, just one man that came here from Mexico, maybe illegally, maybe legally, but he has a family back in Mexico that he wants to send money to, and he's willing to work for super cheap. Not an American man that has an entire family to feed inside of America. It's going to be the best thing for your buck. And I understand people are going to get mad at me, like, how dare you prioritize your own profits over employing an American citizen? Okay, man, you can get all mad all you want, but I'm going to get rich, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to provide for those around me and my family. And that's my priority, for myself is my family, my future kids, things like that. And that's my priorities, of course. And it should be yours too. And look, I understand everybody expects everybody to just exist in this little rainbow-filled world where it's all sunshine and rainbows, but it doesn't exist, man. You got to look out for yourself. And that's how I view it. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Where I used to live, we had a landscaping company that was fantastic. Every face that showed up was black. Everything was terrific. Within a period of about 2 weeks, all the blacks were gone, and it was all whites. Strange kind of a transition that fast. It turned out it was a family company that had sold out to a regional corporation in Atlanta. The corporate lawyers were worried about illegals. Summarily, they fired all the blacks and replaced them with whites. The level of service went like shit. The work ethic just was not there. And you talk to people who are hiring for service jobs. They have trouble getting Americans to do some of this really crappy work. I think you could.
So you're for open borders and 10 million people
wait,
coming here.
you're oversimplifying.
No, but wait a minute. Do you think there was open border under the Biden-Kamala administration?
Obama deported
2.5 million people.
more people than any other
But
president.
what I'm asking you is, do you think there was open borders under Biden and Kamala?
There was I won't say they were open. They were insufficient. I think they were insufficient because there wasn't enough money
Do you
put
think
into it.
the guys working on the Border Patrol, had enough backing from the U.S. government to say, slow your roll? Tom Homan gave a report 2 days ago at CPAC. He says under Biden, they were averaging on days 1,800 people coming through. You know what the number is hit in less than a month? 45 in a day. And he says that's 45 too many that he wants to get. How were they able to drop it from 1,800 to 45? Because the top has got to protect them.
Wait, one theory that came out, the publicity that has been given to deportation has been massive. The other night there was a news clip of illegals being chained up, putting on the chains and the handcuff, all that, and leading them in a demeaning way onto the airplane.
Are they criminals?
Sorry?
Are they criminals? Did they break the law?
It wasn't clear, but they may have, and if they did,
I don't understand it.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point. The point was, by making it so demeaning and so threatening, and all the publicity, it reduced immigration because it scared people who otherwise might have come in.
That's
absolutely ridiculous. Full transparency, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's just fucking one of the stupidest things I ever heard. I don't think that these people really care about the repercussions or possible repercussions of them coming in illegally. This is such an uninformed take. It's not even funny. This guy is, this is the take of someone who has no idea what people risk and what they go through to get to the southern border. Talk to a Homeland Security agent or a Border Patrol agent who has worked in southern Texas or borderline Mexico and seen the trucks of dead bodies that pop up, abandoned trucks of dead bodies, things like that. People understand there's a high chance of them getting killed, of them dying, of starvation, of really bad things happening as you're crossing this border. Bodies of water smuggling through the southern border. They understand that risk is there already. Way worse than getting detained by handcuffs and chains and getting treated by like a criminal. There is way worse risk than that trying to deter them getting here before, okay? And this guy's serious. This guy is uninformed. He's just this old talking politics, and just being this uninformed on politics, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, people die every single day trying to get here, and the people who are trying to get here tomorrow know that the people died trying to get here yesterday, right? Like, let me know what you all think of this in the comments below. Definitely some sketchy stuff going on in this podcast, but I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.